Maryland Alcohol, Tobacco, and Cannabis Commission to order. Do a roll call, and I have Tom Mangles with us. I have Commissioner Durricane Rosarian with us. Myself, Al Silverstein, Chairman. Do we have Patrick Murphy or Robert Poole on the line with us?
Murray, but you're not the first, and you won't be the last to make that
mistake. There you go. Wonderful. Good to see you. All right, so we have a quorum. First order of business is approval of the January 15th, 2026 meeting minutes. I need a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve the January minutes.
I need a second, please.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes opposed. Anybody opposed? If not, the ayes carry it. And we'll go into our next agenda item. We have an opening for a vice chair. That position was Robert Morset had, and of course he went to work for the governor. You can self-nominate yourself, or I'll be glad to nominate you. It's really, it's in case the chairman is not available to run the meeting. That's why we need a vice chair. So I would take any open nominations from commission members. Okay, so being that said, Tom, would you be interested in being vice chair?
Sure.
Okay.
I was going to nominate myself, but you know, I'm kind of shy.
Don't be shy. So I need a motion for Tom Walter Mangles to be the vice chair for the Maryland ATCC. Motion, please.
Motion to nominate Tom.
I need a second, please.
Second.
Second. Motion a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you all very much. All right. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our executive director, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Good to see everybody today.
Mr. Poole, good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, Commissioner Poole, how are you? I'm going to go ahead and turn it over very quickly to our Field Enforcement Division so they can talk a little bit about what we've done, and then I'll take a couple of minutes in between that before I send you over to our licensing crew. Jeff Herndon, who's the Director of Field Enforcement, is not here in a very disloyal act, had to take a couple of hours leave today. So noted on his next evaluation, I'm sure, but he left his very fine aide-de-camp, Mark Wright. Mark Wright's been with us for quite a while, many, many years now. And I'll ask him just to comment about himself, tell a little bit about himself in just a moment, and then also go through our enforcement stats from last month. But I'd say that Mark's been around for, gosh, Mark, I mean, you're probably like maybe one of the very senior people we have. In addition to that, he has a rank of agent in charge, which is the second highest rank in the Field Enforcement Division. So he's got a command of a couple of squads throughout the state. Mark, why don't you just tell a little bit about yourself and then go ahead through the stats if you don't mind.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to meet everybody. My name's Mark Wright. I'm the agent in charge of the Alcohol, Tobacco, Cannabis Commission. I've been here for 14 years. I'm retired from the Natural Resources Police back in 2012. My area of responsibility right now is everything west of the Chesapeake Bay. And I look forward to this, and I'm a little ashamed of my boss who bailed on me and put me in this position because I'm not best with public speaking. So let's see what we can do here. The Field Enforcement Report for January 2026, we completed 468 inspections. Of those inspections, 179 were alcohol, 404 were tobacco, 398 were OTP, and 395 cannabis inspections. Reportable incidents, we have 14 reportable incidents, of which 120 packs of cigarettes were seized.
Jeff, you want to move on?
Yeah, I think so. So he did 14 reportable incidents. They took 120 packs of cigarettes, 7,566 sticks of other tobacco products, 29 gallons of alcohol products, 7,958 packs of THC products. When I say packs, that means like commercially wrapped in some manner. Corresponding to that is 2,976 grams of THC flower. When we say THC flower, we mean generally loose products. So packs are the like commercially packaged products. The loose flower might be in jars or baggies. The value of all those seizures was $94,599. And we had a combined tax loss of approximately $5,928. And just recently we did a destruction, which we have to do periodically because for those of you who've been up here, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you who hadn't, the invitation's always there to please come up and take a look at our basement where we have very secure electronically monitored storage locations that once a case has been adjudicated and the product is eligible to be destroyed, we have to destroy it because we need the room. So we just recently had a destruction and it was about 7,000 pounds of contraband product, just to give you a sense of how big this is. We had a large, really large truck to take this product up to the incinerator. So it's a pretty big operation. And I'm going to try something very risky, and that is a share screen. I don't think I have anything up inappropriate. I'm quite sure I don't, but I have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't care about. But bear with me. Let me see if I can find this. I'm not going to be able to, I bet you. I'm just not good at this. Yeah, I am just not finding what I'm looking for. Well, I apologize because what I wanted to show you was
It's a little box. It's a little box with the arrow in it.
Oh, I know which box it is, but I'll be darned if I can. I got so many files open, I can't find the file that I want to show you. But what it is something that kicked off most recently, I think since our last meeting. It's a dashboard of information regarding our THC products. And if any of my colleagues out there is able to share a screen and sneak it up there real quick, that would be wonderful. But it's we started a dashboard to give everybody really a sense of the kind of work we're doing around THC because, oh, thank you, Andrew. So this, if you go to our website, atcc.maryland.gov, and you slide like halfway down on the right-hand side, there's a bunch of links to different things. One of them is to our THC dashboard, which is this. And we tried to put a lot of data on this dashboard so that really the interested industry, which is all of the people in the cannabis industry, the legitimate, want to know what we're doing about the illicit market. Well, here it is at a glance. You get a sense of the value of the product we've taken, which is about almost $2.25 million. Mind you, this is all since July 1. Prior to this, I say it's safe to say that we took hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of stuff in the first 2 years. So really just about $400 or $500. Since July 1 of 2025 till now, so the last 6.5 months, we've taken almost $2.25 million off the market of illicit product because of certain law changes and authorities that the General Assembly gave us, which allow us to go into a store and instead of taking one item off the shelf and taking a couple of months to prosecute it, we go in and we take the shelf. We take all of it and we still prosecute, but we're able to take everything. So there's that link on our website. So not only do you have the aggregate numbers of everything we've seized by, I mentioned earlier, packages or by loose flower, also we have the individual enforcement efforts in each local jurisdiction. So every county that we've been in, well, every county is listed. The ones where we've done work, you'll see. Some will say 0 because we just haven't been there yet, but many of them have some kind of an entry showing how much money we've seized, how much flour or packaging we've seized from each of these locations. And this is something that really allows the elected officials, and equally important, and maybe even more importantly, the industry, the legitimate industry, know we're out there, we're working. Where are we working? Are we near your places? So we think so far it's going very well. We think it's been very well received. And Andrew, who just put it up there, plays a big role in modernizing or updating that for us every week. Every Wednesday afternoon, it's brought up to date with our current previous week's work. So it's very accurate within a week of our actual counts that we have. So thank you for that, Andrew. Really hope we could show it, and I thought I'd be able to do it, and clearly I couldn't. So thank you very much for that. I'd like to go ahead and just pass over regarding our licensing time, which we're getting ready to move into a busy time of year again, one of our 3 major renewal periods. Andrew Waters, Director of our Regulatory and Licensing and Research Trade Practice crew. Andrew, would you like to share with us what you're up to?
Sure thing, Jeff. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So as we enter February, we're now entering the 90-day renewal window for our April licenses. This includes our manufacturers, wholesalers, caterers, etc. So far, we're only a handful of weeks in, but so far we've already renewed roughly 176 of those licenses. This is thanks to our new one-stop online program, so it allows folks to renew quite quickly, which has been good. And we, of course, make sure to verify all of those renewals, make sure folks are good to go. Since last month's meeting, we have issued new licenses and permits of roughly 226. So we're still churning them out, and everything with the one-stop program is functioning well.
Thanks, Andrew. And I got a couple questions, a couple things for you to comment on, if you would. One thing that's happened, and it's no small part because we have the one stop and we have the Salesforce and we have the ability to allow an applicant to fill out their own paperwork and help process their applications more quickly. We've been able to start a program that we've been wanting to do for a long time, but we just haven't had the staff really to do it. But this freeing up of some of our staff is helping a lot, and that is getting Andrew's trade practice crew. It's a supervisor and 3 investigators out into the field and conducting unannounced inspections of the entities we license, which are manufacturers and wholesalers throughout the state. We've done these ad hoc before, or if we have reason to suspect something's going on, or maybe they've asked for some training and we go out and do an inspection while we're there. But now what we're doing is through a schedule with the goal of hitting every location every year unannounced. And that's really important because that's us not catching them, but us visiting them in the middle of the day as they operate. So we're getting a real snapshot of what it looks like. And it's been fantastic. So Andrew, could you just comment briefly on that and how that team's been able to do it, what your goals are for it?
Sure, absolutely. Our goals for this fiscal year, which does end in a handful of months, is to have set foot on each of our licensed premises in Maryland. That includes all of our licenses, both tobacco and alcohol. And really, it serves 2 purposes. One, of course, being tied to the regulatory compliance. The second being just getting our faces out there. We have licensees that have not seen a state employee in multiple years, and we feel like we should really be doing a better effort to get ourselves out there to make sure that everybody is staying compliant, but also just to meet them and make sure that everything is going well for them. But yeah, those are sort of the core reasons for why this is happening. And now that we have the staff and we have folks that are equipped to do it, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's really nice because we think we're well staffed right now to be able to do that, and our modernization really in the technology is allowing us the time. So we're not just running to keep up, but we're able to now do things that we should be doing and we want to be doing, and we're able to do it. And what's kind of interesting is we're catching people by surprise by going there. We're not trying to surprise them. We just want to get a real sense of what's going on. And the response, because our staff is mature and they understand how to interact with people. And we understand we're dealing with business people who are trying to do things right. We're not trying to hurt them. We're not trying to put them out of business. We're helping to encourage them or helping them to comply with the framework that exists. And the response has been largely really positive that we're out there. Even when we're saying, hey, this isn't right, this needs to be improved, we're getting great feedback on these visits, these unannounced visits. So really happy about that. And while I got you, Andrew, still one more thing. Today, Andrew and his team put a live webinar on aimed toward manufacturers. So Andrew, why don't you just speak about that a little bit?
Sure. This was a relatively quick, just an hour-long webinar specifically aimed towards our manufacturers across the industry, both for beer, wine, and spirits. It was hitting on a number of topics that is really important to them, including the off-site permits, beer franchise, filing their reports to the ATCC. So it was really, the goal was to provide that information that can not only for them today, but also store it on our website for future folks that come along down the way. So that was sort of a first step in sort of something we'd like to continue to do and expand on.
Yeah, we have something of a studio that we've created here over the last year, and we have some really talented people, especially one in particular who's our communications officer, Mike Wynn, who's able to pretty much produce and direct and record and video and script out all of this stuff. And so this webinar was partial, it was all live, but there were elements of it that had been recorded for instructive purposes and were played as well. It will soon be up on our website. There'll be a link that you can take a look at it if you want. I would encourage you to do that. It's the first of what we hope are many. They won't all necessarily be an hour long. They might be a few snippets of tidbits of little information, things to be helpful to the industries that we regulate. So thank you, Andrew, for that. And if I might just have one more minute here, Mr. Chair, we're in the midst of the legislative session. The General Assembly is in town. Things have been moving rather quickly. The last 3 or 4 weeks have been very busy for us. We've been in Annapolis in both chambers for our budget hearings. I think they went very, very well. I feel like we were very well received. Having said that, they're both committees heard it's a bare bones budget. We know that the state has is concerned about finances right now. Our request was very small. It was just enough to keep the lights on and keep things moving. And we made known that that's what it was. We've also shared with what we think are great successes over the past year and touted that we believe we're good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And we try to be. So both of those hearings went very well. I don't expect there's going to be a whole lot of problem with them. I hope not. And regarding alcohol bills, which there's always quite a few, the first alcohol day is tomorrow in Senate Finance. So we'll be down there for the day as they go through all the Senate bills. And then on Monday will be alcohol day in the House. And it's funny, everybody calls it alcohol day. We all know what that means. There will be no alcohol there, but it will be all the alcohol bills. And it's quite a lot. So we'll be hearing all the local bills on Monday and a few of the state bills on Monday in the House. And then there'll be a couple more days sprinkled throughout. But I think in the next week or two, our role in this will start to be kind of reduced and things will slow down a little bit, but it's been pretty hectic right now. But things are all really good. So, Mr. Chair, that's our report for this month, and I turn it back over to you.
I have one quick question, Jeff. I know that there is legislation to allow grocery stores to have liquor. Are we being asked to testify relative to the ability to be able to have enough people to go in and make sure that they're following the rules?
That's a great question. And it's actually like a 2 or 3 part question. So first, we don't typically take positions unless the governor's office has a particular interest in something, or unless, it's our own bill. We don't typically take a position. What we do frequently is offer something called a letter of information. And some of these bills can be cumbersome. They can be large. They can do a lot of things. And we're as close to experts of that as anybody is in the state. So we dissect those bills. We'll put together a letter of information and provide that. Again, not an opinion, not a opposition or support, just a statement of facts about that, so that the committee members will have hopefully a better sense of what the bill does, or know what kind of questions they might want to ask, even if it's of us. So regarding the grocery store bill, we have not taken a position on that at all. So that's part of the question, but as I mentioned, it's multi-part, because another part of all these bills is the Department of Legislative Service is asking us for fiscal impact on the bill. They may ask us what the bill does, but equally important or more important, they'll ask us, what's the fiscal impact? Will you make money? Will it cost you money? Do you need more staff? Can you handle the requirements that's being done? So we do go through that as a separate function. And I don't know, I feel fairly certain we did get asked for a fiscal note on that, and all of those topics would have been addressed. I don't have recollection of that one in particular, but we get on most alcohol bills, we get a request to submit some sort of a fiscal note attached with that.
Right, thank you. All right. Does anybody have any new business they'd like to bring up? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question if I could. Jeff, we were talking about, and Andrew talking about visiting licensees and all that. And a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Lou about the solicitors' permits that wholesalers and manufacturers, people have to fill out. They're online, correct?
Everything is. I'll let Andrew get into detail, but my understanding is it's everything you can do.
I was talking about 370-5, the solicitor's permit. The very first thing it says, and it's been my experience in other markets where the very first thing it says is, has the applicant obtained a copy of whatever the local laws or regulations are and read it? And in our case, it just says, does the applicant agree to conform to all the laws, et cetera, et cetera? It's been my experience. And in fact, Lou showed me the little pamphlet that I thought would be going out, that this thing, I'm not sure if the people involved are getting this information. If you were to ask the average person who is out working, whether for a wholesaler or for a manufacturer, if they actually have read that or have it. I don't think that's the case right now, for whatever the reason. In fact, this was effective December 26, 2022. I don't know if that's been an update issued or what. So, as I said, Lou and I have been talking about this for a little while.
Sure.
Yeah, Andrew, you
Yeah.
want to take a shot?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so Tom, essentially what you have there is a few years ago, we did a trade practices booklet, which is essentially just a culmination of the relevant COMAR laws that we think are helpful to folks out in the business. Everything in that booklet is available online. It's all regulation. We do have a slightly updated version that we printed when we moved here and sort of officially became the ATCC that we have distributed sort of on an ad hoc basis. It is true, we do not give out a booklet for each new solicitor permit issued. That would be quite an expense for the agency, for us, but I see your point, essentially in the sense that we want all of our permit holders to be educated on this. And that is certainly something that we can strive to do when we are out there at these locations. There's just quite a large number of solicitors
Yeah.
working within the state.
My only
This is-
suggestion would be that section change, that I have obtained a copy, whether it's online or not, read it and agreed to those terms.
I think maybe
That's
that's the thing is send their attention
change
to
the
COMAR,
form.
because
Yeah.
it is all available online.
Yeah.
And so we can direct them to the location online, because it is their obligation, it's their obligation and their employer's obligation to make sure they're trained. We
Right.
try to provide the resources we can. Some of it is fiscally doable, some of it is not. But we also hold something called Alcohol 101. Andrew, you wanted to share a little bit about what that is now? And this is
Sure.
something we're doing. It's relatively new.
Yes, very new. And essentially for our new license holders, many years ago, they would actually physically come into the office to receive their license. Nowadays, we actually send them their license via email, but we still want to capture that face-to-face interaction, an explanation of what the license can and cannot do. A lot of this information is sort of transferred from us to them during a pre-license inspection, which is when our trade practice investigators go out and sort of ensure that the premises is fit for a license. However, from the time that inspection occurs and the time that they are sort of up and running, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year down the line, they have a ton of new questions. So what this sort of training, sort of meeting is intended to be is an environment for new licensees to come in and ask us, hey, I got my license 6 months ago. Boy, I was not prepared for X, Y, and Z. Could you please kind of explain what we should be doing, how we should be doing it? That's what these are intended to be. And these are physical meetings. And they can also, in theory, for folks way out west or way on the shore, could be virtual. But right now, we're really trying to hone the in-person meetings for our new licensees.
How often do you do that, Andrew?
Right now, we want to sort of pool them together in sort of that 6-month window. We were doing essentially on a individual new licensee basis, but I think it is more productive to sort of pool folks together because then they have questions that are asked that other licensees might not have even thought of, and especially if they share product categories. If a beer manufacturer has a maybe similar question that a different beer manufacturer didn't think of. So we found that to be successful.
Are the solicitor's permits annual? Don't they have to be renewed?
They do.
Expire? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All of everything we have is an annual permit or license, and they all expire now annually. Different times of the year, but annually.
All right, good questions. Any other new business? If not, I'd ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Okay, I need a second, please. Robert, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the meeting is closed. Thank you all very much for joining us. And Mr. Kelly and staff, thank you for the work that you've been doing on our behalf.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Take
all.
care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey.